Okay.
Do you want to hear?
I am going ahead and muting people if they're not
Perfect.
muted.
Thank you. And I just admitted all.
Okay.
We have 1 minute left, so let us wait. Perfect. Now it is time to start. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Intercultural Communication Intersection, or ICIS, I want to welcome you to our first ever webinar series, Voices from the Classroom. I want to tell you that we are welcoming you, our presenters, and we are also grateful to the ICIS leadership team, Roxana, Leslie, Sharon, Barbara, Ramin, Amina, Josie, and many others who wholeheartedly embrace this year's topic, Voices from the Classroom, Teaching in a Time of War, Experiences of EL Teachers and Students in Ukraine. Please note that the webinar is being recorded. Let me give you a little bit of an overview of what the Voices from the Classroom event is. We gather once every year for a Voices from the Classroom event online to discuss what is going on in different classrooms worldwide regarding TESOL and intercultural communication. And the quote on this slide illustrates the ways teachers serve as a support system for students in their educational journey, even in a time of war. Due to the increased interest in this year's topic, teaching in wartime, we decided to host not one, but two Voices from the Classroom events. Thank you for the presenters who have accepted to share what is going on in their classrooms, and they are going to present their reflections and experiences. It is so important to share your voices and experiences, especially now. Let me share the agenda of today. Today we have the following agenda. We will present the overview of our intercultural intersection. We will have a welcome note from TESOL Ukraine, and then we will continue with the 5-minute presentations from 6 presenters that cover topics from trauma-informed teaching practices, identity, and again, teachers' experiences, voices, and reflection. We will end the webinar with a discussion and reflection session. Please share widely what today's event means to your own personal and professional growth. And as always, please let us know your questions and comments by posting a comment in the chat box. And of course, you are welcome to follow us on social media and email us. Let's begin with the overview of our intersection. And you can read the slide, but basically, our members, our team facilitates many practice-focused webinars, informal coffee hours, lighting talks. We also have regular newsletter issues. You are welcome to submit a reflection piece, a lesson plan, to contribute to our community of practice. And this is how you can join us. I highlighted our YouTube channel because that's a new addition to our social media platform. You are welcome to join us there. Let me just admit there is someone in the waiting room. If you can please admit that person. And this is our upcoming event. This is the second session of the Voices from the Classroom event that will happen next week at the same time, 7 p.m. Ukraine time. And the names of the presenters are also listed. And let me talk about today's speakers. Welcome to our presenters. Before we start your presentations, we would like to invite Olena Ienko, TESOL Ukraine president, to introduce today's event. Olena, are you here?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Dear participants, hello. Dear participants, dear organizers, it's a great honor for me to welcome you. And I would like to thank the organizers and participants of the event for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of TESOL Ukraine. On behalf of about 600 people, its members, the members of their association, English language teachers. So all of you know that since February 2022, the life of all people in Ukraine, including English language teachers and their students, has dramatically changed. TESOL Ukraine members now help to fight Russian aggression. They teach, translate, volunteer, and fight in the information war. We are so much thankful to our partners all around the world who have supported us in this difficult time for our association and all teachers and students. In April, June 2022, TESOL Ukraine held a series of 16 professional webinars on various modern topics related to teaching English with our partners from TESOL Hawaii, TESOL Italy. We highly appreciate the support of the RELO office of U.S. Embassy of Ukraine, America House, and many, many real friends in the USA and other countries. Today, we are going to listen to authentic stories of people in Ukraine, to listen to their voices. And we really appreciate that the American partners have provided an opportunity for English language teachers and their students to tell their stories of war, stories of learning and teaching in the time of war, how they experience and how they feel it. All of the participants, of course, have different stories, I believe, different places of residence in these difficult times, different impressions, reflections. But when we put together these stories like pieces of puzzle, will give us a complete picture of how people are living now in Ukraine during the war, the existence of which we still cannot believe. And this is truly the voice of Ukraine. I wish everyone to enjoy the real stories of war, the voices of Ukraine, and I would like to wish Ukraine a victory and let the peace reign in our land as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I got a little bit emotional. We will start with Juliana. Juliana, would you like to take over or would you like me to forward the slides?
Yeah, I can just, if you don't mind, I can tell you which slide will be
Sure.
the next.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, dear colleagues. It's a privilege for me to be speaking here today and to be sharing our insights and experience of the impact of the war. It's extremely negative experience, but we have some lessons of war which we have to live on, and we have we have to overcome. So before sharing our lessons of war, I'd like to share with you our results of the questionnaire we conducted in summer. Please, next slide. Our teachers from university answered some questions, we suggested them. And here you can see the result, and the most factors that affected teachers' activity was a psychological state. And unfortunately, we had to switch to the survival mode. And we are living in this mode till now, today. Among challenges teachers mentioned were lack of resources, lack of accessible resources, lack of motivation. We had to change our curriculum. We had to accommodate students' requirements, wishes, needs, possibilities, and we had to provide different teaching modes. So we introduced for students synchronous, asynchronous, and individual teaching mode. That was a little bit difficult, but we coped with this. Next slide, please. Despite all these challenges we encountered with, our professional commitment and students didn't allow us to give up. So having analyzed our experience, we have come to conclusion that trauma-sensitive and trauma-informative pedagogy is crucial today. Next slide, please. Exactly, trauma-sensitive pedagogy or trauma-informative pedagogy fosters safety environment, and it allows us to create safety environment, learning environment for students. It facilitates peer supports, promotes collaboration and well-being. Among listed here technology or strategies of trauma-sensitive pedagogy, we most imply social emotional learning, inclusive practices, universal design for learning, and growth mindset. So now I'd like to share with you our insight and lessons which we've gained through this difficult period. So the first one, we advise and we recommend using optimistic and positive pedagogy and use the positive language and eliminate negative feedback as much as possible. Second, it is well known and we know that stress affects our memory. So we suggest using a lot of reminders and scaffolding tools for students. In such way, we will eliminate this psychological barrier. The third one is assessment. Assessment has always been a very sensitive issue for any kind of learning in any discipline or subject. So we recommend being explicit with assessment. Provide students with clear instructions, clear rubrics, and discuss with them what criteria will be for the assessment. And of course, it's very important to provide in time and constructive feedback. You know, when we get into crisis situation, it seems that we lose control of our life. We do not control anything, and our life turns into complete chaos. We have a strategy. If we involve students into designing this assessment criteria, into the tool selection, we allow them to participate in our lesson construction, we create this imaginative picture of a control. And we create this illusion that everything is sustainable and controllable, and students engage into our classes, and it increases their motivation and lessen this anxiety, stress, and level. Next point is universal design for learning. This is really very, very resourceful and powerful strategy that enhance trauma-sensitive pedagogy. Universal design for learning provides you with multiple means for educational material representation, for students' engagement, as well as students' action and expression. Next, our recommendation is to support social and emotional stability in the learning environment in the classroom, practice mindfulness and practice self-regulation strategies and activities, decrease cognitive load, and increase collaboration in class. And my last slide is about key tools which support our strategies, and you can use them if you want to provide trauma-sensitive strategies and implement them in your classroom. Use a lot of kind of messengers that support students' communication, digital books and platforms that support UDL, video recorded lessons and students' feedback for those who couldn't attend our lessons, different types of MOOCs, testing tools, and collaborative tools also support peer assessment, peer communication among teachers and peers as well, and virtual exchange project that showed that the whole world support us, and we really hear your support, and we really appreciate that you support and give us such opportunities to express ourselves and to be always with you. And from the teacher point of view, the last thing I want to tell you that the most important thing for us, for teachers, is to take care of ourselves, because we should stay resourceful. Thank you.
The next presenter is Anna. Would you like to join us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to share my ideas and findings when working in challenging conditions. To be honest, I'm working in a challenging condition even right now without the power, but I do believe we will cope with these things as well. It would be great if you change slides for me. Yes, thank you. Anyway, to begin with, restoring the educational process during martial law is rather difficult, as the focus of both students and teachers shifted to the terrible events in the country. Today, the role of the teacher, first of all, is to create a safe and secure educational space, both working online or in bomb shelters, with numerous students at a time with few tools. So the teacher should be creative, flexible, and digital literate, as well as pay special attention to students' needs. Next slide, please. For example, I met my students' needs when they asked me to integrate specific vocabulary related to the warfare to enable them creating and sharing news about Ukraine via their social networks. They choose Twitter as the platform to introduce Ukraine to the society worldwide and join the information resistance. Then they presented Ukrainian culture, values, dreams, and even posted some hilarious memes created at our lessons. To my mind, some students showed an unbelievable level of resilience. Also, it gave students a sense of involvement in a common cause and promotes the practical application of knowledge, skills, and abilities. When faced with challenges, students don't have to have psychological problems, but on the contrary, with support of adults, including teachers, they can demonstrate post-traumatic growth and psychological resilience. Next slide, please. At the moment, we have adapted a little bit to the setting, but we face another challenge. I mean, regular lack of electricity and the internet. However, delivering lessons is a must, especially regarding the fact that the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine have already announced about the traditional way of taking final exams by school leavers in the end of the academic year. So to continue educational process effectively, I had to learn myself how to use different applications and programs to shoot and create interactive and educational videos to provide my students with necessary information, as well as opportunities for guided and independent practice to prepare for exams as well. To be honest, it took some time, but now it helps me organize asynchronous learning the right way, because it's much more than just sharing a video from YouTube and testing students' knowledge via Google Forms or other apps. For example, when I taught my students past simple tense, I made a video which included explanations and interactions which made my students feel they were in a classroom and we communicated face to face. Since the video paused automatically to provide my students with some time to answer my questions and practice as much as possible regarding their circumstances. They could make self-corrections, as due to the system, I could provide them with a kind of feedback at every stage of their less guided or independent practice. To be honest, creating these videos takes much time for planning, shooting, working with programs, but it has a lot of advantages for students who can watch them over and over again in their own pace. Next slide, please. Also, I noticed that my students spend a lot of time in their Telegram Messenger. So I created a channel there to implement more interactive activities to focus mainly on preparing my students for final exams. I suggest them different tasks on listening, reading, use of English. I provide them with learning and exam strategies, give them feedback. My students and I agreed that I would publish assignments twice a week there, and they wouldn't be assessed. They would be optional rather than compulsory. I think this way of learning contributes to the psychological relief of my students and distracts them from watching the news or spending time in a shelter. Anyway, one of the teacher's objectives, in my opinion, is to replace today's information noise for students with tasks and exercises more effective to keep their psychological state and improve their foreign language competencies as well. But it's also crucial for teachers to find motivation to work and develop own resilience. For example, before the lesson, to my mind, the teacher should assess their readiness to work, adjust psychologically, move away from the terrible events of today and take care of himself or herself, both psychologically or physically. For example, through performing some pleasant rituals. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Anna. And our next presenter is Olga. Would you like me to forward the slides for you? Okay. Do you want to unmute yourself, Olga? I think you need to unmute yourself, the microphone. Yes.
Thank you. I am Olga Zelinska. I teach at Yaroslav Mudry National Law University in Kharkiv, Ukraine. And I would like to share war teaching experience. And first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for this solidarity, support, and possibility for our voices, mine and my students, to be heard. Please, next slide. No teacher in the world should experience working under shelling and explosions. A lot of people of different cultures united to support Ukraine. And this cross-cultural communication helps us overcome the horrors of war. Teaching the language and sharing our experience can lead to fully understanding the situation and outline some future incentives to prevent wars. My brave students shared their thoughts concerning their fresh year experiences in the wartime. We continue our studies online, despite everything that Russia will not be able to break us with terrorist attacks. Please, next slide. Kharkiv is the second biggest city in Ukraine, which is rightly called the Ukrainian capital of students. Over 300,000 students used to live and study in our city before the war. And now schools and universities are eerily empty and some of them are destroyed. The barbarians ruined 110 Kharkiv schools out of 200. Our education has become the target. Destroying education equals destroying our future, and to my mind, can be qualified as genocide. Next slide, please. The students were robbed their homes, classrooms, communication, friendship, safety, and stability. Sadness and sorrow, grief and depression, pain, rejection, sometimes rage have been the key emotions during these 339 days. I usually feel excited before my first meeting with the freshmen and almost immediately found connection with the group in September. But this year, I worried about saying the right words, creating the balanced emotional atmosphere and communicating with them. On the other hand, the students, who are usually full of life and good humor, bright, vibrant, and ready to have fun, were quiet and insecure. During the first lessons, they just watched me and had difficulties in participating in the activities. I had a lot of questions I asked myself, and it was not easy to find the answers to them. But together with my students, we succeeded in finding some answers in our virtual classroom. Next, please. One of the first steps was restoring normalcy in a student's life, which means calm and ordinary classes with familiar tasks and activities. As we were getting acquainted, students gradually were becoming active participants in the lessons, trying to cope, support each other and me, and interact. I was trying to use positive and optimistic topics, materials, and give them food for thought for further discussions and assignments. The individual approach became crucial to create more or less normal atmosphere for work. I have to stay connected 24/7 because some of the students have to contact me very early in the morning or late at night when they could catch signal and send me some of their work done in writing, as well as get new assignments from me, which have to be shortened, transformed into tasks doable in such conditions. It does not look like the best method of teaching and learning in the 21st century, but the war in the center of Europe with the young people living in occupied territories trying their best to study is also unthinkable. We have worked hard together with students to study in English, and I feel we have succeeded in reaching our educational goals in spite of Russian aggression. I think the best way to finish is to cite my students' words. I hope that the long-awaited victory will come soon, and we will meet in the hospitable student of capital of Ukraine, Kharkiv, and in particular in the classrooms of Yaroslav Mudry National Law University. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. And now we have our next presenter, Irina.
Okay, thank you. You will help me with slides, yes?
Sure.
Please. Okay, so it is, hello everyone. It is so nice to meet you all here. This is an amazing opportunity to talk about the present day situation in Ukraine and how it influences education and share our own experiences during the wartime. First of all, please let me introduce myself. Please, next slide. I am an English teacher at Pologhivsky Lyceum 1. My town has been occupied since last March. My family and I had an opportunity to flee the town. We left our home places and everything we had there. Now I am an internally displaced person, and my students are living in different parts of the country and the whole world. Unfortunately, some of them are still staying in the occupied territories, and every single day is the struggle of surviving. From that time, the whole universe has totally changed for us. We have greatly changed, and of course, the methods and approaches of teaching English. Obviously, the war has influenced everyone here, and of course, mostly it is about kids who are trauma affected. Luckily, we could organize our school online, and that sounded impossible at first. We tried hard and did it. The most unpredictable thing was almost all the students wanted to continue their studies with their classmates and teachers, and they wanted to have a part of their normal life. Moreover, they tried themselves at different schools. Next slide, please. The next slide, thank you. There are many challenges we are facing, such as continuous air alarms, a lack of electricity, water, and internet connection. It is impossible to imagine things like this in the 21st century, but they exist. The students of our school are divided into three main categories: those who are living in Ukraine, then the students who are the students who have moved abroad, and others are the ones who are still staying in the occupied town. We teach our students via Zoom, but the duration of the lessons is shortened. Then we, please, next slide. The next slide, please. Then we teach our students the lesson is shortened. Then we make videos with the explanation of a new material for those students who cannot attend lessons. And of course, use Google Classroom as a helping hand. And what is teachers? Teachers know about the individual needs and possibilities of their students. And the most important thing for us educators is students' well-being, their mental health. We try to avoid themes which can hurt students' feelings, communicate in chats, and inspire to share their emotions and provide each other with useful support. The next slide, please. Our students have experienced a lot of difficulties, and I noticed they have become kinder, more respectful, and helpful to others. Of course, the students seem sadder and more upset. This happens because they had to flee their homes, leave their favorite things, relatives, friends, and even pets in the occupied territory. They have been scared a lot of times and hear awful news every single day. Anyway, the most unique thing is that the students have become as motivated as they have ever been before. They want to study. Moreover, they prefer to work in groups because they feel a lack of peer communication, and this helps them socialize with one another. Of course, they may be less concentrated after missile attacks and a little depressed. It is also hard for teachers to concentrate after that. Students dream of attending their school again, and they are much stronger than we teachers or any adults are. For this period of time, the students have become much older than they have had been before. I realized that even online schools can be healing places. If students get important support, understanding, and inspiration, they will become calmer. You know, I'm really proud of my students, and I try to follow their example of resistance. Thank you for your attention, and please pray for Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we have our next speaker, Megan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for welcoming me here. My name is Megan Abrahamson, and I'm the English Language Fellow for America House Kyiv, Lviv, and Odessa. Formerly, I was a virtual English Language Fellow for the Office of English Language Programs. And yeah, I've been working with America House for the past year. This is my experience from starting last February. And I hope you guys will like it. So yeah, we can go to the next slide, please. So actually, I made some edits to this slide. Do you mind if I share my screen? Okay.
Please go ahead. Let me see if I can make you. I don't think I can make you a host or a co-host. Leslie?
I just made her co-host.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Megan, go ahead and share.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. All right, everyone can see my screen? Okay, great. Thanks. So actually, I just added these extra bullet points to the left to tell you a little bit more about America House. So America House is one of over 600 American spaces all around the world. And there are quite a few American spaces in Ukraine and 3 America Houses, which have, you know, majority of the programs. And so I plan the English language programs for all 3 houses. And our programs, not just for English language programs, are to combat disinformation, support youth in leadership, help with IDP refugee programs, eco-sustainability programming. We have creative writing and storytelling. we encourage podcasts, and in person we have a gallery and makers space. So when the war began last February, our programs completely came to a halt for out of security reasons, and we weren't able to have any programming in person or virtual for about 3 months. And so, I mean, I didn't have a lot of experience before in this type of setting before, but after doing some research, I found some really great communities, which I would like to share with you guys today, which are the Interagency Network for Education in Emergencies. And there are people who are contributing resources to these websites, these organizations, from Save the Children, from UNICEF, from UNHCR, War Child, and they have been really great resources for me in my program planning. So my programs, they consist of weekly discussions. So I have 5 basically conversation clubs incorporating American culture, global news, career development, but have also held closed programs for teachers training in education and emergencies and incorporating social, emotional, and ethical learning in the classroom. And I see that there's a Sergey, hello, there's a participant from one of the classes here today. So nice to see you here again. And yeah, I think that and then also I had a closed course on incorporating human rights education into the classroom, and which were very informative. Of course, as teachers, we all know that when we are planning a training or a class for any level, we learn so much ourselves at the same time. So there've been really great growth opportunities. So a little bit about what it looked like. Fortunately, these resources online, they have PDFs that are completely for free, and they are in multiple languages. So they're also in Ukrainian. And I basically constructed the syllabus for this course based on the content that were in these core texts. So about creating a compassionate classroom, building resistance, and they're all very hands-on activities that you do with your students. But you're also adaptable to the online audience. I mean, I haven't been to Ukraine myself. I was supposed to go, but I feel like with working with a team of 25 Ukrainians every day for the past year, it has allowed me to understand a little bit more of the situation, and just how tenacious everyone is, like every single person that I have met. And then for the course overview for incorporating human rights education is on the right side. So this was also an 8-week course that ended in a capstone project where the teachers, they showed what they had done in their classrooms to incorporate human rights education, whether that being with women's rights, non-discrimination, freedom of poverty, workers' rights, a list of topics. And yeah. So some really big moments that I wanted to share with you all is this was the final group for the education and emergencies. You can see there's the proof that Sergey was in there, and it was really great to have all of the teachers able to finish that out. And then also another amazing moment for me was being able to meet Ludmila, and if you can see from the photo, she's another teacher from Mykolaiv, and she was at the conference that RELO had in Tbilisi in Georgia, which I was able to present at the end of last year, which was really amazing. And of course, we had some America House, we wanted to do like a collaboration of, you know, supporting Ukrainian culture and continuing to allow, you know, Ukrainians' voices being heard. And so there was a Bandura workshop that we had at America House in Trieste. And that was really great to have the combination of cultures. So yeah, I guess the biggest takeaways for me is to just continue showing your support, always listen, you know, ask if what you're saying is the right thing. I think one of the previous speakers said that, you know, not sure what to say or what not to say. So just simply ask. I've noticed that everyone has been very open to talking and they want to talk about it. Just doing, having a meeting with my coworkers today, that they felt that there was definitely, you know, the fatigue of hearing about the war after a year and some disinterest of, you know, moving away from that topic, but it still is very much going on and it still needs to be talked about. And so in the spirit of staying connected, I put a QR code for my LinkedIn here if you want to stay connected or you have any questions about my presentation. And I think that my 5 minutes is up.
Thank you. Let me share my screen again and invite our last speaker. Can you see my screen? Okay. So
Yes, I can
Anna,
see my screen.
welcome. Would you mind taking it over?
Yeah, if I can, please do it by myself. Changing the slide. Can you?
Should I give you privileges?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I just made Anna
Okay.
co-host.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see on the screen. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, here we go. Yeah, my name is Anna. I'm from Ukraine, of course. Yeah, I still remember my first thoughts on February 24th, 2022. It was pretty early morning and I was woken up by the sounds of pretty huge explosions in my native city. And my thoughts were like, oh, it's the war. No, it can't be true. Oh, God, please help us. And two main emotions, like the one emotion actually that almost every Ukrainian felt at that very moment, that very day, it was fear. And of course, it was anxiety. And that fear, it almost paralyzed all the Ukrainians at first. And we didn't know what to do, how to act, because our routine, our usual way of life, it was distorted. The reality was distorted at that very time, at that very day. And talking about the TESOL Spring topic this year, is inspiring innovation, empowering ELT professionals. It's a great topic. But for Ukrainian teachers, since February 24th, 2022, we had to find new ways of teaching. It was new ways of finding inspiration for us. And for us, inspiring, that was really inspiring, it was support. And so otherwise, I can like just paraphrase this topic for Ukrainians, inspiring support. That's something that we really needed since that time. And it helps us, it empowers survival. I'm speaking here not about just physical survival, but maybe more about psychological and emotional survival. And thus the concept of PRAY teaching was formed. P stands for perseverance, R stands for routine, A stands for art, and Y stands for yaw. The first two components or constituents of PRAY teaching are perseverance and routine. You know, a lack of structure and routine can actually exacerbate feelings of distress and can make you pay more attention to the source of your problem. That's why it is so important just to keep that routine, because routine helps people better manage stress and anxiety, according to the numerous researches of psychologists and educators. And starting with the first day, you can see here the screenshot from my Telegram group with my students. It was February 24th, and we still decided just to have our class. It was just lecture. It was just a class on phonetics. I don't remember what exactly, but we still had our routine because it was really important for the students to have something that they are used to doing. Speaking about perseverance, Collins Dictionary gives the definition that perseverance is the quality of continuing with something even though it is difficult. And I can say that even though it is difficult, and even though you are not in your usual surrounding, even if you're not like in the classroom, in your home, even though you are in bomb shelter or you are in the parking lot, you still should continue, because we are teachers, we are committed to what we are doing, and thus we are helping our students just to survive mentally and survive physically as well sometimes. Next component of my PRAY concept is art, incorporating art into lessons. And here I'm talking mainly about nonverbal art or art therapy, because nonverbal art helps patients or just people who suffer from high levels of anxiety. Since talking about anxiety can evoke fear and associated physical reactions. And distance to the anxiety can be provided when people can create some visual art. And to distance oneself from the emotion during the act of creating art can improve cognitive regulation of emotion. And here are some examples of what we can do with our students to help them cope with the anxiety. First of all, it's as simple as just guided drawing. Some of you attended our other webinar where I showed how to draw a panda. It's just guided drawing when students can think of anything but of nothing but panda, how to draw it. Next one is collage. It's a great way when you want to pull yourself together, you know, both literally and just emotionally. Collage can really help you if you have some scissors at hand, so do it. The next one that I practice with my students is doodle in response to music. You know that music is a form of art that is often said to move souls. And especially instrumental music is a more effective stress buster, as the mind is allowed to relax without any distractions, without any lyrics. And the point here is to allow for creation without any expectation. Just draw, just relax. And the next one is installation art. And you can see here the example of one of such installation. It was the Matchbox, and the idea under it is just so moving. It's like all the Ukrainians who are staying in Ukraine, they are like in that matchbox. And so on the matchbox, you can see pretty nice flowers, and you can see there that blue color is the sea that we have in Odessa, where I'm from. So it was one of the work of art from my students. Coming to the end, to the last but not least constituent of my PRAY concept is your. According to the Collins Dictionary, it is a verb that means to deviate temporarily from a straight course. Actually, it is used in, it is a kind of flight term actually, and when the plane yaw, you can see it right now in this picture, it's when it just changes a little bit its direction just to achieve its final goal. Because sometimes we teachers, we should just not be stuck to the original schedule, not be stuck to the original curriculum, but we need to use some different ways of teaching, to incorporate art. It's okay not to cover the topic of some grammar constructions, for example. If you feel like doing some art with your students. You should use some time just to be able to achieve your goal. And talking about pray concept, I would like to say that keep praying while teaching, keep praying both using that pray concept and just keep praying for Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all the presenters. And now we have arrived at the discussion section. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Also, if you have any feedback, please let us know as well. And once again, thank you for the presentations. We really enjoyed it. You are welcome to post the questions in the chat box, or you can use the microphone.
I have a question.
Please.
Hi, everybody. This is John Silver. Great job with the presentations, everyone. It's wonderful to see online. Unfortunately, we're discussing a very difficult and challenging topic. My question is about COVID and how the great upheaval with COVID and teaching online may have helped with your own teaching online, and also the student psychology. They had gone through, we've all gone through a great change and upheaval with teaching online. And if this may have helped with your teaching or the students being more adaptable during this time of war.
Okay. May I
May I
speak?
answer? Okay, Irina, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say that, yes, COVID helped us, helped our students to adapt, and it helped greatly because we teachers know we were not prepared for COVID and for teaching remotely. And now we are adapted, our students are adapted, and it is easier to teach. Yes, I can say that helps. Thank you.
Anna?
May I continue? Yeah.
Please.
So I absolutely agree with Irina. The experience which we had during the COVID times is really helpful, but still today we face other challenges like how to teach when there is no power or there is no the internet connection. So that's another stage of adaptation and another challenge, how to be more flexible and creative. So that's why we try to adapt to these circumstances as well. But we have a huge experience during the COVID time. We sometimes didn't know what to do, but today we are well equipped.
So probably I would like to add, so probably we have become better at technology thanks to COVID, yes, but that helped a lot. But now you're absolutely right. Now we have different challenges and they differ a lot. So it helps with technology, but we haven't been prepared for the other challenges. Thank you.
I believe that Ruslana wanted to speak. Can we allow Ruslana to speak because she was waiting?
Oh, I don't want to go ahead. I don't want to interrupt the responses to the question. I just was the second in line with my question. So if there are more people who want to respond to John's question, I'll wait.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. So I may be a stranger to most of you. Just wanted to say thank you for sharing your incredible inspirational work that continues to inspire the global community. And thank you to the TESOL ICIS for broadcasting these voices to the global educational community. They are extremely important. The rest of the world needs to continue hear the stories from different spheres of Ukrainian life and resilience and perseverance. I'm speaking from the perspective of Ukrainian who lives in the United States and continue to support Ukrainian teachers in many ways. One question I have is a follow-up to the first or the second speaker who was talking about the importance of taking care of yourselves because you can't pour out of an empty bucket. And I'm just wondering how you manage, how do you take care of yourselves?
Maybe the first who will answer. So I was absolutely wrecked in the beginning of the war. But still, to my mind, we should focus on our strengths and on our hobbies, if you wish, and try to widen the I don't know, the interests of us. And as for me, I started I created an account in TikTok and started shooting all these ridiculous videos, and it was a kind of relief for me. It distracted a little bit, and also it helped to share my thoughts and my emotions related to the warfare situation. But still, then it helped me to implement this knowledge into my teaching career, and I use this knowledge and these skills when teaching and creating interactive videos as well. So we should focus on our interests, on our hobbies, on our emotions. We shouldn't be alone with everything.
I'd like to add that first of all, our students, our resource, because when they write me a message that I'm sitting on the roof of my house, trying to get in touch and trying to connect into your lesson, how can I betray the student and not to answer and not to start my lesson? And especially those students who are from places on the front line, because they cannot move because of their parents or because of some family circumstances and so on. So my family and students and professional commitment, I just tried giving my students some kind of stability and imagine that everything is more or less okay. We're together, we will collaborate. And you know, the response from students is also unbelievable. And I think this is a great resource.
Do we have any other responses, comments? No? Okay, I do have a question in the chat box from Roxana. What resources are still needed?
Those resources that have already been provided by the global community, I think they're not really connected to teaching. Because you see what I mean, which resources our country really needs. I hope that they will continue be supplied and so on. But speaking about teaching and students, it's difficult to say about resources when you do not have the main resource, electricity and connection. Everything that we need is just this kind of technology, generators, inventors, support of university from the technological point, I mean, hard technology point of view. But what our teachers really need, we don't understand how to work with really traumatized student and how to work with traumatized colleagues. When both these sides meet, it's really challenging to conduct lesson, even when the word plain or rocket if you do not understand and you don't expect what response will be from the student side. So this kind of webinars or training of teaching in emergency, trauma-sensitive pedagogy, and thank you to America House that you provide this really, but you're unique. Nobody else suggested at this point. And I believe that it's necessary not only for English teachers, teachers of all subjects suffer from this, from the lack of this knowledge. And if you have possibility to create some training or meeting with experts from this teaching area, we would be very grateful and we would appreciate it.
Do we have any other comments? Okay.
Андрея, if I
Please.
c- yeah. Я хочу подякувати всім учасникам. Ми дуже дякуємо вам. Ми гордимося вашою мужністю. Ми просто захоплюємося. Це надзвичайно. І мені дуже важко говорити українською. But I wanted again to say thank you so much. Your stories are so meaningful and they inspire us to continue helping you, helping Ukraine. And I really appreciate this idea about which, resources teachers they needed this time. And I think that ICIS with TESOL, we will work on this. As you know, the conference, TESOL International Conference, it will be in March. So we will be all getting together there. And this is, I think, our next idea for getting together and having another seminar, another session. So thank you so much again. Дуже дякуємо.
Thank you all so much for joining us and for sharing your stories. And thank you to the audience for asking questions. We look forward to seeing you at our next event next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Ukraine time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bravo, everyone. Thanks.
Bravo.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, this went well. I will stop the recording.